All right. Well, we'll get started here shortly. Go ahead and get started here in a little bit. Just want to make sure I got all my audio set up. Let me know if the audio levels are too low. Looks like they may be a little bit too low. I gotta move my mic closer, see if that helps. This is going to be interesting. I moved it in front of my freaking face. All right. Try not to bump anything. It took me forever to get this thing set up to do this again. All right. Well, I'm not sure who might be interested in this, but I got sent a package of tabletop role-playing game stuff to review, and I'm assuming this is it. If I open this up and it's not what I think it is, it's going to be a very short stream. But I think this is actually a package of material from Stellagama Tabletop Publishing, or Stellagama Publishing. They do tabletop role-playing games specifically derived from the Cepheus engine. Now, the Cepheus engine is based off of, I believe, the Mongoose Traveler role-playing game, which is a game that has been recommended to me numerous times, but which I have never played. It's on my to-do list, but I still have not taken a look at the system. I have not played the system. So it's going to be interesting. These are like from a light version of the system, I believe, if what I read is true. So I am going to do an in-depth review on everything that I take a look at in here tonight, but I'm not going to do it tonight. I am really far behind on my tabletop gaming reviews, and I wanted to make sure that I at least took a look at these and did a quick flip through, and then put them in the queue and probably take a look at them in the coming weeks. And those of you who've been watching my channel have noticed I have fallen short on a few things the last week or two. I have just been, as a combination of being super busy and feeling under the weather. In fact, there's not going to be a Fallout 2 thing tonight. I have to record another batch, and I didn't get to over the weekend. I may go into that in a little bit. For now, let's take a look at the tabletop role-playing games. And I'm not sure if this is a good format for this kind of thing, whether you need to see my face or whatever. Probably, oh crap, I just bumped it, didn't I? Probably not. Let me take a look, see if I can get this. Focus is going to be on the books, as it should be, but I figured I'd go ahead and take a look at this just like my tabletop review stuff. Already pulled all of the labeling and such off so that, you know, no stalkers and stuff can come out of the woodwork and try and come after me. Although I live in Texas, man, if anyone wants to take their chances with that kind of thing, just keep that in mind. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, it definitely looks like it's what I expected. So we've got a nice little group of Cepheus-based material here. And it looks like I got, is this 3? Let me yank the packing slip out of this real quick. It looks like I got 3 light systems, and then 2 actually larger type systems, all of them based on the Cepheus engine. I have not, as I said, played the Cepheus engine before, so we shall see how that goes. And I would like to thank Stellagama Publishing for sending these to me, and I will definitely take a look at getting them into my review queue pretty soon. I need to get more tabletop reviews done anyway. Sorry, I'm talking down like that. I need to get more tabletop reviews done anyway. I've just fallen so far behind. You can call me a slacker YouTuber if you want. So what I am looking at the links for these on Drive-Thru RPG, and I should probably go ahead and pop these open on my main screen so I can actually link you the links as I take a look at them, just in case you don't want to wait for the review and you decide you like what you see. So let me pop open the links. So that's the least I can do. And it'll also help me give some background as to what exactly we're looking at here. And there's quite a few of them here. And I will go ahead and make them affiliate links because why not? Why not? And the first one we'll take a look at, because it looks like one of the smaller books, is Cepheus Atom. And let me spell atom right. Oh my god, I misspelled atom like 3 times. How the hell did I do that? It's right there. Ah. Alright. Cepheus Atom. And from the looks of the page. Now these are all print on demand from Drive-Thru RPG. So keep that in mind. They are available in PDF. This one is available in soft cover black and white book, which is I guess what you see here because it is a relatively small book. We'll take a look at the back. And very evident is the kind of post-apocalyptic thing in terms of the theme. And here's the link for it. Boop. All right. The bombs fell. Nations wielded varied and monstrous weapons against one another. Fires, clouds of poison, and worse have swept the world. Now only the savage wastes remain, haunted by mutants, deranged robots, and engineered monstrosities. But from the fire, heroes and villains rise, tribals, survivors, mutants, all the warped remnants of humanity, armed with primitive weapons, pre-collapse artifacts, and afflicted by strange mutations. They set forth to conquer the wastes, or at least survive them. By death and laser, they shall prevail or die a horrible death. So it's a lightweight role-playing game system where you're survivors of post-apocalyptic science fantasy world. Gonzo Apocalypse. So there's that. I got mixed, like mixed feelings on the kind of Gonzo science fantasy type stuff. I've done reviews of some of it, of some of those settings. Some of them are done well. This is not a setting. This is more a actual system. You have to excuse me because I've got some Ovaltine here. But I've done reviews of some of those settings. This one's just a system, not the setting itself. So we should see what it does. Let's take a look at the basic construct of it. It's a relatively small book. Looks. I'm not even going to say digest size. This is tiny. This is like almost like a pamphlet more than a book. So I'm not expecting anything like seriously like stand out here. You've got very basic artwork. Looks almost like clip art artwork, which is all you need for a basic system like this. What do we got here? Alien. An insect person. Yeah, it's kind of... Yeah, this is definitely throwing me that Gonzo style feel, post-apocalyptic style feel. Yeah, the artwork, hit or miss, but it is amusing. It's not a lot of it. A lot of tables. Very clear presentation. You know, I'm not going to look at these systems in depth, but I am going to at least try to look at them. Now, I'm not sure what we can see on camera. Let's see if I can't get over here. Sorry about this. Let me adjust the camera here so I can actually get around it and see what I'm doing here. Cepheus Atom, you got your legal disclaimer because it is using the Traveler system. I'm not sure whether it's a super stripped down version of the Traveler system because I have not actually played the Traveler system, but we shall see. So it's from Stellagama Publishing from Omer Golan Joel. Omer Golan Joel. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm presuming that I'm completely, horrifically mispronouncing it, but we shall see. It's not a very big system. Like, it looks like the system itself is, what, like 20 pages? And then the rest is just tables, it looks like. So you got your introduction. This is basically what I read before. You got about the author, a 38-year-old freelance Hebrew-English translator. So that's pretty interesting. Lives in a town in Israel, so not bad in terms of the maturity of it. That's because you got these people that write these RPGs when they're like 19 or something, and they can be fun, but sometimes you just want to get somebody who's actually played games for a very long time, so they know what's important. You got 2 basic rules. This is basically outlining the fact that you have fun, basically. I still don't know the basic characteristics of the Cepheus system. So if I am really noob when I'm talking about a lot of these systems, get used to it. I'll probably have a firm grasp of what's important on the Cepheus systems by the end of this, because I will be taking a look at like 5 of these. This first one, simplest one, but I am definitely going to take my time to actually read the rules real quick so I can, read the other ones. It uses a 2d6 system. Roll 2 dice, add the results together, and subtract 2 from the total. So 2d DM minus 2, the dice modifier. Okay, so I'm just learning the mechanics here. So it's 2d6 versus difficulty number. Add them together, and if the total exceeds or equals 6, you succeed for skills. And this is just for tasks. So I'm presuming that it's 2d6 plus your skill versus these difficulty numbers. Not a problem. 6 skills: combat knowledge, physical, social, survival, and technical. Those are very general style systems, or very general style categories. Throw 2d, that's your endurance. 4d is your lifeblood. Distribute 5 points amongst your 6 skills. Very, very quick character creation. You just roll, 2 stats, and then distribute points to skills, and then you're done after you buy equipment. Not bad. Makes for a very quick character development. They got a contamination system. So contamination is a mix of biochemical weapons, radioactive fallout, nanotechnology, plagues, and even worse. Not even dividing them up into multiple systems. And I guess that's what you want in a rules-light system. It's just something you can jump in and play. Characters begin with the game with 0 contamination, and then you basically accrue it. Whenever a character gains level of contamination, refer to the mutations chapter for further information. I will have to definitely look at that. Definitely 6 levels of contamination, so I guess you can only get contaminated 6 times. Alright, there's basic fatigue rules. Common equipment is laid out. We got armor, which is trade units are basically abstracted currency, so something like caps or whatever in Fallout system would be a trade unit or whatever. I'm not sure how the protection works in terms of the system, because I have not played Cepheus systems, as I said. We got each set of armor has its own drawbacks, so that's not bad. Common weapons have a range and a damage, and then any special notes. You've got your basic melee, your really everything from really. Let me take a look at this. Let me see if I can't zoom this in a little bit. So you got everything from very, very primitive stuff up, and great. I shouldn't have messed with it. There we go. Took me all night to set that camera up. You know what it is? It's I got a cheap HDMI cable, and the HDMI cable isn't working 100% of the time. Come on, camera. Did I just mess this thing up? It took me like 10 minutes to get this thing working in the past. Come on, I know for a fact this thing just requires a little jiggling of the cable. Is this going to be it for the stream? No, it's showing up. Okay. It's showing. It's my fault for getting a cheap mini HDMI cable. I need to spend some money on it. Yeah, it's just, you know what it is? It's like this. You got this HDMI cable, right? Because I got it hooked up, so it's got the HDMI cable comes down to my Elgato capture device. And then it goes from there into the computer, and then the computer just deals with it like I'm recording a game. So it's all well and good until I jiggle the cable wrong, and all of a sudden, oh no, everything's messed up. So yeah, let's see where was I? I'm not going to go this in depth on every one, but I don't know a lot about the Traveler system, so I'm starting with the simple stuff. Yeah, I am not going to zoom in again, though, unless I really have to. I got a nice that tap of that book. It's a tiny little book. Let's see where I was at. Okay, so you got everything from primitives to a little bit more advanced type stuff. You got special effects on some of them. It looks like some of them have special qualities like blast or fire, and they're explained down here. Each one given individual rules. I like it when systems do that. Got heavy weapons, everything from like flamethrowers. Looks like they've got rocket-propelled grenades, that kind of thing on there. The other RPG, which is interesting enough when I try to type it into YouTube, and it comes on with the other one for some reason. Got general equipment. This is like your basic adventuring equipment in a post-apocalyptic sci-fi kind of thing. You got your vehicles, but I'm not sure how vehicle rules work, as I said. Instead of dealing with like fuel capacities, it looks like you just like abstract that out, and then it costs a certain amount to fill it up completely. It gives you optional encumbrance rules. Not too bad. Alright. Combat system. Again, never actually used Cepheus system, so this is going to be interesting. Excuse me. Gives you rules for surprise. You basically make a physical check. And whichever side succeeds, surprises. Initiative is a combat check. Kind of. Like contested combat check. I don't even think this system has anything like that, does it? Time is 6-second rounds. And, 10-meter movement. So what, 30 feet? Yeah, that's about expected. Combat throws. You got a chance to hit a target regardless. So no matter what you're aiming at, that combat throw is just your skill, right? Yeah. It's looking like this system uses mostly 6+, although it looks like the 2-hit is 8+. As I said, I've never used the Cepheus system. I've heard good things about it. I've heard really good things about it, and I'm hoping that as I'm reviewing this stuff, it'll give me a better sense for the system. Because as much as I like the D&D stuff, it gets really old. It gets really old. So, there is that. Okay, damage is... shotguns have their own thing because, shotguns are awesome. Damage is... Damage dice minus armor protection rating. That's where the protection rating comes in. There's no, it doesn't look like there's a ballistic versus whatever. It's just protection rating flat. Not too bad. Damage and endurance. If the endurance reaches 0, then you get wounded. After a character's endurance is depleted, any further damage is done to lifeblood. And then, that looks... this is supposed to be like a... I like this system as described here, is where you're damaging their endurance. And then once the endurance is done, then you start taking off of... Oh man, I would love that, but I appreciate that, and I will try to play, but I gotta admit, I barely have time to even breathe and eat right now. It's like I got far behind on my videos for this channel just because I've been so busy, but I really appreciate that, and I will try to make some time to please play at least once or twice just to get a sense of it. That would be awesome. I do like this damage system, though. It reminds me of... I hardly want to say this, but the Pillars of Eternity system, where you start losing the fast regenerating thing, and then you got a second bar that's your actual health. So this one's got endurance and then lifeblood. Lifeblood does give you a serious wound if you lose more than half of it. I'm presuming endurance heals faster here. Characters recover all endurance after a 10-minute break. See, yeah, there you go. Real fast endurance regeneration. I like systems that use that 2-stat system. Okay. So, wait. Okay, I'm not getting this, though. Okay, so after a character's endurance is depleted, any further damage is subtracted from lifeblood. If a target loses more than half of their lifeblood, they suffer a severe wound and are out of combat. On healing, it says characters recover all endurance after a 10-minute break. Lifeblood lost in a severe wound, it takes 5 days of rest to heal. But what if you get wounded on lifeblood but don't take the severe wound? And your stats decrease, so does your yeah, it gives you a penalty here when you take those wounds. I like that. Now it does have like the wounded death spiral or something that is a problem, and that some people say is a problem in some RPGs, but I actually like that kind of thing. But this doesn't tell you how long it takes for the lifeblood to regenerate if you don't have a severe wound. So could be edited in there. I'm sure that somebody that's played Cepheus a lot could probably tell me that. It's just not in this tiny little thing. There's a morale system. That's good. Yeah, I gotta tell you what, man. Morale systems cut combat so short, but that's only applicable if your groups actually let them go. Yeah, I know, it's more real when you get that death spiral going. And here's the thing, when you do that, and I'm going to use this just to mark my place just so I can expand on this. When you're doing a system where the more you're wounded, the more penalties you take, that tends, if you've got a good group, that tends to build teamwork, because as soon as they see somebody starting to take hits, it's like in D&D. They'll leave that tank up there all on his lonesome until he goes down, and they'll toss him just enough heal to pop him back up, and then he's back, and then he's tanking again. In a system where you become less effective, as soon as somebody's wounded, you get the very real, I mean, if it's a good group, a very real response of them running in there to pull that person out and patch them up while other people come in to take the front. And that not only requires them to build their characters around that idea that they may have to be that person that runs in and grabs the person out and rescues them. So everybody tends to get a little bit more well-rounded skills, but it also gives people something to do. In D&D, once the wizard doesn't have any magic to do in a thing, or at least in old school D&D, once your wizard used their spells, they kind of just sat around, maybe taking shots with a dagger or something until it was their turn. But if you get that where you're wounded, you kind of hop in and out. That gives the people that are weaker more reason to come up and try to provide some cover, and actually get into the fight, So I really do like systems like that. It'd be a little bit harder to keep track of, but yeah. All right, let's take a look at the vehicle combat. See, one of the reasons I haven't played a lot of Cepheus is that I'm actually not a huge fan of sci-fi games. I do like spaceship, like hard science or nearly hard science kind of exploration, or hard sci-fi kind of exploration games. But those are kind of few and far between, or at least they used to be. So I never really looked at the Traveler system, even though it was like right up my alley. Okay, vehicle combat. Always a chase and is played out in turns. Each side throws a 1d plus technical plus vehicle agility. The vehicle with a higher throw has advantage. The pursuer wins a tie. A vehicle with advantage may attack normally. Vehicle without advantage can attack at DM -4. So I'm presuming that it's like a chase. It's supposed to represent like a chase where they're kind of coming up alongside one another, just like in a movie. I like the idea. And I actually kind of like that idea a little bit more than purely movement-based one. Yeah, the quality's not bad. I mean, look, it's print on demand. So in terms of physical quality, you know what you're going to get. But these are not bad rule sets. And I will do a way more in-depth review of these coming up. I mean, this first one's going to get worked over pretty well in this quick look because I want to get an idea of what the system is, and I'll probably breeze through the next couple real quick. But it's nice. It's not bad. I'd play them. And they're not that expensive either. How much is this one? Hold on, give me a second. I don't even like post-apocalyptic stuff, and I'm digging this one. This one's like $3 for the PDF. Like $6 if you want to get the actual print. That is not bad. That is like budget gaming right there, man. Alright, I got rules for breach. Hold on. All right. So upon a successful hit, throw the weapon's AV dice, which I'm presuming is listed in the vehicle table. Well, they got the vehicle as agility and armor. What's AV dice? Hold on. I probably just freaking skipped over it. No, I didn't skip over it. What is AV dice? All right. So it refers to a rule that I haven't seen. Okay, so I'm going to presume that that's something that somebody probably needs. It's probably something I skipped because I'm trying to get through this quickly. But there is a non-zero chance they may have not mentioned what AV means. A Gatling gun, AV 3D on attack on a monster. Oh, the weapons AV dice. God, I'm just stupid. I'm sorry. Okay, the AV right there, anti-vehicle dice right there in the notes and the weapons. Right there. Not the game's fault. That's my fault. Yeah, well, that's the thing. No. The AV dice is anti-vehicle dice because it's based off of the weapon. Because these hand weapons, they don't got AV. Well, some of them do, like a pipe bomb does. But the heavy weapons have AV dice, which is the anti-vehicle dice. Okay. All right. Now that that's settled. Yeah, this is like a rules light. Yeah, these are like, these are all. Well, here's the thing. I think 3 of these are Cepheus light systems, and then 2 of them are like more in depth. Sword of Cepheus. Well, here's a Cepheus light system. Like this is literally says Cepheus light. So they're rules light versions of the Cepheus system. So. And their sword, they got 2 sword and sorcery ones here too. That's why I'm liking it, man. If it was just nothing but sci-fi, I'd probably like this, you know. I take a look at some sci-fi things, but this is a good one, man. I'm just gonna skip over a couple of these. Okay, so you got overland map and exploration thing. You got movement rate multiplier for various terrain. You've got rules for force marching, rules for vehicle travel. That's good. Rules for becoming lost. Again, as you might see, an old school type thing. I'm loving the feel of this. You got weather. You got weather effects, rules for camping. I'm just skipping over this because I want to do a more in-depth review later on. And I want to get to this other stuff first. Urban scavenging tables. So if you're like looking through a ruined city in a post-apocalyptic area, you roll on the table, figure out what you find. Got foraging, because of course it's post-apocalyptic. You got to survive. There's contamination zones that can up your contamination level. Where's the mutation ones? Got rules for light and darkness for exploring the underground. Here we go. Contamination and mutations. So every time you get exposed to contamination, you gain a contamination level. Presuming that you fail your roll. And every contamination roll gives you an effect. So like mild, negligible mutations. A character gains a minor mutation, throw 10, 1d4, a detrimental, a beneficial. Okay, so every time you make one of these rolls, it could be detrimental or beneficial. And then when you get level 6, you just die. The character dies a hard death at 1d later. You know what I would prefer on that one almost? Is if instead of like dying, you had a chance to just get removed and be turned into an NPC. Like if I was running this, I would probably house rule that. So you've got, I'm presuming there's mutation tables further in. Psionics, because every post-apocalyptic thing has to have a psionic thing. And here is your mutation tables. It's got stuff like scaly armor. Give somebody a psi blast with a mutation. Man, these are neat. Kind of weird, but neat. You got encounter rules. You got your basic reaction table. Looks like anything you pulled out of like an OSR system. You got your monsters. Gives you the monster format. I'm not going to even look into that, although I'm probably going to regret that here shortly. Random encounter tables, just for quick reference. Yeah, it's just the way it is. But hey, you know, I like that kind of thing. I can only imagine like OSR versions of it. You know? Alright. So wait. I'm skipping over these, but are the monster stats included in yeah, the monster stats are included in the random tables. Like giant roaches, 6 to 12, movement 15, armor 3. So I have to look at the I was trying to skip it, but I got to look at the monster stats. Endurance / lifeblood, movement, armor, attack, skills, and special abilities and mutations. Alright, so you got giant roaches, giant geckos. Hello, Fallout. Yeah, my Fallout 2 Let's Play is on pause right now. I'll record some more like tonight or tomorrow. I'll get into that in a second. Tentacle worm, brain mice, grenade plants. Man, they got some neat creatures in here. Yeah, even the base traveler has that. Okay. Like the stats are directly in the table. I mean, I can understand because you don't like looking at traveler and other kind of space exploration things. I can kind of understand that you don't want like a bestiary for everything because it's supposed to be on multiple worlds. So, like, it makes sense that there's just like weird creatures on each individual world. Got your robot encounters. Gives you rules for overriding and reprogramming them, so you can like beat them down and then reprogram them for your own purposes. Nice. I got the stats for the robots. I'm loving the art selection. It's real old school Gonzo. Here's your relics from the pre-collapse times. You got trinkets. Okay, parts, broken relics. So these are like your artifacts, except they're actually just like high-tech stuff. Okay. Alright. And here's all like the individual stats. Not bad. And some of this is like modern stuff. Alright. I'm probably gonna wrap this one up here, and I'm gonna go to the next one. Yeah, because that's the end of the book anyway. It ends with a mushroom cloud, and then it's just the legal information. So that was Cepheus Atom, and that's probably about the most in-depth I'm going to do on these. I'm going to try and breeze through the other ones a little bit quicker, because I'm just trying to figure out. Like, as I said, I've not played the Cepheus system before. So it looks neat. I mean, I gotta face it. I gotta admit, I have never played the Cepheus system before, but I think this is like converting me. I kind of want to play it now. Okay, so what's the next one? I got Barbaric here, and I got Faster Than Light. Now, I'm presuming the Faster Than Light one is like the sci-fi one. So let me pull that up, and then we'll get to Barbaric in a sec. So Cepheus Faster Than Light. Give me a sec. I'll get the link up. And I will pop the affiliate link in there just in case. Because I know people watch these like well after I do them. Here we go. Cepheus Faster Than Light. Minimalist 2d6 sci-fi role-playing game, again by Omer Golan Joel, and the Barbaric one will be, and it looks like the large books are by multiple people, and then these small books are by one developer. So it's probably going to have before I'm going in, judging from that, it's probably going to have a very similar layout, a very similar writing style, and that's not bad, because this is what happens with a lot of these small indie publishers, is that they'll pump out a lot of splat books or like individual role-playing games that are designed for a very narrow niche in the genre, and they'll put out like a bunch of them, and they'll have very similar writing styles and stuff in each one. I'm sorry, I've got basically my dinner here. So yeah, again, a very small book. Let's read the blurb on the back. Whether exchanging laser fire with aliens across a cratered moonscape or pushing the speed of light in a shining spaceship, interstellar adventurers lead exciting lives. These minimalist rules allow you to experience these wondrous adventures without fuss or complication. They are perfect for convention play, pickup games, or a beer and pretzels night where you roll dice and blow stuff up. They include everything you need to play: character generation, task checks, personal vehicles, and starship combat, as well as the basic rules for interstellar travel. Not bad, not bad. So let me go ahead and pop through. Got your legal disclaimers up front. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I love Judge Good. Yeah, I noticed that I was looking through my. I have like an archive of old PDFs of old Judges Guild stuff. Mostly because I can't get a lot of it in print anymore, and I really can't justify getting stuff in print unless I'm going to do a video for it, like this. But I noticed that when I was going through like the old Judges Guild stuff, because that was before my time. I gotta admit, I didn't get into role-playing games until like the late 80s. And I think by then, Judges Guild was already starting to wrap up on some stuff. And part of that's because I'm only like, you know, I look older than I am, although I'm pretty damn old. And I lived in an area where that stuff was, where like role-playing game stuff in general was really hard to get a hold of. So I didn't get it. I didn't get a lot of exposure to a lot of like third-party stuff back in the day. Pretty much the only time I could get any role-playing game stuff whatsoever was when it was like mass published and stuff. Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm in my mid-40s. You know, I came in at the tail end of AD&D First Edition. You know, early Second Edition, because before that I was just too damn young. I lived next to somebody that had complete collections of stuff, but I was too young to appreciate it at the time. So I missed on some of that older stuff, you know. But I do notice when I'm browsing through it and I'm seeing it come up, you know, I do notice that they did a lot of stuff like that. I really probably what I need to do is take a look at some of these older publications and do like a different video on them. All right, because well, and I'm on a tangent here, but one of the reasons I want to do that, and I'll take a look at this a sec. One of the reasons I want to do like a video on the older publication stuff is that it's so much in vogue right now to do like these zines and these magazines and try to mimic the old feel. And I'm not sure if they get it right. And I'm not sure if some of them seem to, and some of them more seem like they're trying to capture the nostalgia of it without actually, you know, going full on. So it'd be interesting to take a look at. Anyway, let's take a look at the Cepheus Faster Than Light. It's an extremely stripped down version of Cepheus Light, which I'm going to get into in a sec. Just assumes you're already familiar with tabletop role-playing game. That's cool. Same kind of basic game mechanic, same as the last one, so I don't need to go into that. You just throw 2 dice plus your skill versus a target number. It does not have an easy table with the target numbers. I suspect this was produced first. Am I right? Am I right? This was May 9. This is second printing, May 2019. This was. When the hell was this? You know, I thought it would be easy to look up, but the copyright page doesn't exist here. I'd have to look it up. Yeah, the copyright page doesn't give you a date. Drop the ball on that one. Alright, so it looks like it's like a little bit more primitive. You do have rules for opposed rolls right there though. That's good. So yeah, they do have the average roll listed. They just don't have them in a table. So here's, yeah, this is done before it because he's only 37 in this one and he was 38 in the other one. So this was done a year before the prior one. So it might get a little bit rough here. But that's all right. So, oh, they've got proper stats in this one rather than just 2 of them. They've got strength, endurance, dexterity, intelligence, education, and social standing. So they got like proper stats in this one, which I guess is important. If one thing I like about these rules light ones is that if they include all the stats, even if they don't use them all, that still makes them compatible with some older material. And I don't know if this is the case in Traveler. You'll have to let me know if that's the case for Traveler, but if it looks like there's enough versions of those stats in this to use this with like old Traveler material, let me know. So each one will be between 2 and 6. You list the character statistics in shorthand. Use a pseudo... All right, to denote numbers above 9, use a pseudo-hexadecimal system. So it codes it into a single list of 6 digits. I don't know if I like that. I mean, like the computer guy in me really loves this system. Yeah. Like, do they do that? The universal personal profile where it's like 6 digits like that? Because like the computer guy in me really loves that. But I could see where if I was on a table, it'd take me a little while to get used to it. All right, you got characteristic scores. Gives you the difficulty of the dice modifier. So it's like a proper version of the system. Give you a home world. You get the stats for the home world. Either skilled or unskilled on the stats. Rather than selecting from 6 skills, you are either skilled or unskilled. So it's different than Cepheus Atom, but uses a very similar one. All right, yeah, and I can only imagine that would be necessary, because if you're running a game and you've got like 30 different worlds, I can imagine where that would definitely save on abilities. Total sum of the character skill levels can never exceed the sum of their intelligence plus education statistics. It's got like proper career generation. This is one of the parts I do know about Traveler, is that you get like you roll to find out what happened each year that you go by. So you choose one of the 6 careers presented, roll each term of service. If you fail, you die. Roll up. Okay. So this is how you create a character. You do 4-year terms starting at 18. You choose one of the 6 careers. You make a survival throw, and if you fail, you die. I presume if you succeed, you then choose one of the main skills and roll on it, and then you get a chance to level it up. So I have looked at the Traveler character creation before, and I think that's a little bit harsher than it is in Traveler, if I'm remembering right, but at the same time a little bit simpler too. Yeah. Yeah, because this is just straight up like... This is just straight up, boom, you did. Yeah, because I've read a little bit of the Traveler character creation. I did like it, but it didn't strike me as that brutal. Once you complete your career, roll for mustering out benefits. I do remember that. So this is just basically a stripped down version of that. So you've got your choice of contact, free trader, explorer society. All of that you can gain from mustering out of a career. And here's just the stats on character creation. You got Army, a Marine, Merchant, Navy, and each one gives you your relevant skills that you can learn, what rank you got, and then what rewards you got for that rank. It's not a bad system. I think this may be going for that first edition Traveler feel. And quite honestly, I don't blame them. Alright. Let's keep going through. Alright. Individual descriptions of the skills. I promised I would try to breeze through these faster. It's just this one's a little bit more in depth than the last one. Kind of threw me for a loop. This one's like proper stripped down Traveler. Alright, so you got your skill descriptions, what each one does. I like how they're very abstracted. Alright, personal armor. I'm guessing the TL is like tech level. Am I right? Yeah, the tech level. I'm at least a little bit familiar with that. Protection, just like the other one. Cost and credits. Skills required to use them. That's not bad. Adventuring gear. That's just your standard adventuring gear with descriptions of each one. That's cool. I like how very straightforward this presentation is. You've got your vehicle stats with the tech level required, cost, agility, speed. What's LT damage and CR damage? I don't know. That's new. That is new to me. Light damage threshold. Weapons have to throw this number above to their AV dice to penetrate armor and cause regular damage hits. So, small arms fire has a chance to not even do any damage to vehicles. I like that too. A little bit more complex than the last one, granted, but I think it's a matter of scale. Like the first one was like post-apocalyptic stuff, so you're not really going to run into starships and such. So I can understand that. And you got your weapons list, everything from like daggers and clubs all the way up to like laser guns and such. I like that. And again, you've got your anti-vehicle damage and your various traits in there. Very similar to the last one. You got your combat rounds. Again, you got surprise, initiative. They work the same way as they did in the last one, except they just switched it around. So this one's recon 8+, so it's a specific skill rather than just something stripped down. And the initiative is tactics instead of like, what was it, physical in the last one. Very similar though in terms of how it works. You got actual like cover rules. That's like more than I expected for this. I expected it for like the big one, but not for like this tiny one. Got Overwatch options, so you can go ahead and fire at people when they pop out of cover. It's got a slightly more complex damage system, or a slightly more complex combat system in this one. Let me see. Does this actually tell you how long it takes to heal lifeblood and such? Or does it even have it? I don't even think it has it. It just has straight up stats. But it does give you more in-depth rules for healing. Like everything seems a little bit more complex in this version. So I mean, it's like more akin to like the full role-playing system, I guess. Okay, this is what happens when you damage each vehicle. That's nice. That's nice. I mean, the layout on these is pretty decent. I've noticed that there's a hell of a lot less art in this one. So while there is art, it looks like the other one had like these full-page spreads of some art, and then in this one, they used those pages for actual rules, so it ends up being a deeper system, even with a similar page count. Give you rules for off-world travel, of course, because it's a traveler game. Interplanetary travel. It tells you how many. I guess how long it takes to move between areas. All right. Not bad, not bad. Based on the acceleration of the particular spaceship. Got a little bit more in-depth rules for encounters in space. Even the spaceships have better, like more complex stats than the vehicles in the other one. It's like almost like a proper stat block here. You got different types of ship. I need to get into Traveler, I guess. I wouldn't mind playing something like that. You got your space combat. Again, it looks like you've got like advantage to determine which vehicle has advantage, and then it adjusts your combat rolls based on which vehicle has advantage. It's not bad. Although, oh, okay, so the characters aboard the ship can each take actions for that particular round of combat to modify the combat. Okay. I like systems that use that because it. Hold on. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, I like systems that give like the entire crew of a ship something to do because otherwise, I'm gonna mark this because I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent here. It's like some systems, especially with regards to like sailing vessels and such in tabletop gaming, give you rules for having each individual contribute to the fight. But in a lot of those systems, I've noticed it basically still all boils down to like the same two people, and the other people can still contribute to the fight, but it's mostly just busy work. But from what I'm looking at here, like each action that a particular crew member can take like genuinely affects the fight. So I do like that. I do like that. And I'm not just saying that because I have been playing a lot of FTL lately. I do like the combat system here. Got proper weapon ship weapons. You got environmental hazards, stuff that you run across on a particular planet, including poison, disease, extreme temperatures. This stuff I did not see in Cepheus Atom, so this stuff is nice to have. I'm presuming you can adapt this to a lot of other stuff. I think that's it for this system. Yeah, that's it for this system. That was Cepheus Faster Than Light, and I've already creased the book. Ah, man, that's going to show up in my review. But, no, that's not a bad system. That was surprisingly more in-depth than I was expecting when I looked at this little tiny book, man. I've got, like, a minor issue with the format on these books, and it's a little bit of a nitpick. But, and I think it's based on the page count and such, because it's a little bit too big to like be a pocket role-playing game. But that's just a minor nitpick. Just a minor nitpick. Because I got some games that I can literally fit in my pocket. Then Barbaric, sword and sorcery using the Cepheus engine stuff. I'm mostly gonna breeze through this. When I started Traveler, my party was doing the expedition to the Barrier Peak, so the party figured out the distress beacon and the cryosleep tech, so they decided to activate the beacon and sleep. Oh. I don't even remember what happens. I think they just take off, don't they? Barrier Peaks. It's like when you're when your D&D game when they decide to make your D&D game a space exploration game. Yeah, we're not going to seal this off. We're going to actually hijack this ship. Hey, that's one way. That's one way to do it. I think at the time, didn't they have God, when they wrote that module, was it? I thought I covered this. They had Metamorphosis Alpha out at the time, if I remember right, and it was like semi-compatible with that, if I remember right. I can't remember, but I don't know if I'm remembering right. That's the problem. So like you literally could transition your AD&D game to a sci-fi game, just like that. Anyway, let me take a look at Barbaric. I'm burning time here. I love sword and sorcery type stuff. I'm gonna do a quick wow. See what kind of art they chose. Oh man, that is so old school. Some of it's kind of clip arty. Some of it's kind of like miscellaneous. But you got these like that Conan feel where you've got just weird stuff going down. It's just looking at the art, man. Yeah, definitely giving me that Sword and Sorcery Conan style feel where you got elements of Lovecraftian horror and that stuff. Okay. Well, let's take a look at the back here. All right. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to reposition the camera and everything. Okay. Barbarians, civilized men huddled behind tall stone walls, trembling at the thought. The soldiers of civilization tighten their shield walls against the oncoming onslaught. And then they come, savage men and women, screaming at the top of their lungs, oblivious to fear, frothing at the mouth from rage and lust for war. Wave after wave they storm shields and fortifications. Many die, the pagan gods bless their souls, but eventually mail and castle fall. Then the flames of barbarism will sweep the land, leaving no stone unturned. So, sword and sorcery type stuff. Yeah, okay. So this is lightweight, Cepheus engine-inspired sword and sorcery. Let's see how it works in that. It's all good. It's all good. Got a decent introduction this time. So this one was produced a year after Cepheus Adam. So it went Cepheus Faster Than Light, Cepheus Adam, and then Barbaric. So I'm expecting this one to have some slightly more advanced rules. Give me a moment. I got somebody bugging me. It's all good. All right. Okay. Basic rules and characters. I'm presuming it means character creation. Okay. Nope, so I'm trying to get it so that you guys can see the book itself. Basic mechanic is still the same. Again, they've got the task difficulties in a table, which is useful. They've got... Remind me not to drop a whole pitcher of water on. I came this close to dumping this pitcher of water all over these beautiful books here. That could have been a disaster, man. You know what I need is I need to buy like a new table to record this stuff on. Right now I've kind of got all my computers, all of my monitors and stuff shoved to either side while I'm recording this. Anyway, so they use the same the same kind of stripped down skill system that they did in Cepheus Adam. But they changed it because you got combat, craft, lore, physical, social, sorcery, and stealth. So I guess lore is lore that won't drive you insane, while sorcery is lore that will drive you insane. Character creation, you got endurance. I do notice, let me take a look at the Cepheus Adam version. Because Cepheus Adam version, when you went to generate your lifeblood and your... No, it uses the same one. 2D for endurance, 4D for lifeblood. Okay. Then you get 5 points amongst 7 spheres, or 7 skills. 1 trait from the next chapter. You start the game with food and water for 3 days, a backpack and water skin, a knife, and some gold. Or some items that you purchase with that gold. So just barely... This is just your basic standard adventuring crap. Or your sack. If you have a sorcery skill, you gain 2 spells or your points of your choice. My bad. I'm stumbling in my words again. Alright, so you get some... if you have sorcery, you get some spells of your choice and then some random. So it kind of splits the difference between letting you choose everything and just randomizing everything. When a character is fatigued, they suffer a penalty to all actions. That's understandable, as I said before. Some settings permit non-human characters. Unlike humans, non-humans do not receive a trait. Or rather, they only have 4 points to distribute. So you got your human bonus to make sure that people don't pick weird stuff, which I like, because otherwise everybody plays just weird stuff. So you got your classic ones like elves and dwarves, but you also have things like gecko folk, lizard folk, Anunnaki, and ape folk. So you got your kind of split between fantasy and between Tolkien and Howard. Traits, they work almost like a combination of class, skill, and or feat. So you've got some of them like awareness that function like feats might, and other ones. And then you got stuff like backstab, which functions like a thief's backstab almost. So it kind of splits the difference. And you get how many of them? You get one? If you're human? Yeah, you get one trait. So even, I'm presuming that there's ways to gain more traits later. And these aren't really fully classes. These are just like, they just set you on that way, you know? They get you started on the road, so to speak. Gives you different combat, again with the water, gives you different combat roles or combat moves. Characters with a high skill in combat may choose one combat move in lieu of a trait, as described in the following tables. So if you've got a high combat skill, you get these, which function, again, almost like a feat in another system. Okay, I get that. So if you've got combat 2, you can, instead of a trait, you can pick up like polearm specialization, things like that. That's not bad. I mean, I'm presuming because this table goes on for a while that you get other traits. Yeah, here we go. Heroic and determined characters may develop their talents quickly and become living legends. To represent this, Barbaric offers an experience system, which I did not see in the other ones. I'm going to have to ask whenever you come back how Traveler boosts people, because I'm not sure that I know the advancement system in Cepheus. I know this is the first time I've seen an experience system. So you get experience, you get an additional rank, and there's 5 ranks, so it's not a huge system. And it's 1 experience per adventure. Every 5 experience, the character rises in rank. So you can, after 25 adventures, you can become a legend. Each rank gives you 1 new trait, which is good. That gives you a new trait. One of the following. So you get either 1 new trait, either +3 endurance or 1d6 lifeblood, or gain 1 skill point to add to any skill. So you got to make them hard choices, and even a legend only has a basic, like a basic advantage over the starting players. So it's not like, as I keep referring to it, it's not like D&D where you got this massive linear system where they become like superheroes. It's very limited. That's not bad at all. Then you get hero points. Each player starts the game with 2 personal hero points. And then there's a group pool. A group pool that gets more points as the characters succeed. This looks almost like it's taken from the Conan RPG or something similar. Each time a player succeeds in a skill or characteristics throw and surpasses the target number by 6 or more, the group hero point gain another point. All pools reset at the beginning of each session, so it encourages you to use these points instead of hoarding them. And you can spend a hero point to reroll any single die throw, force the referee to reroll a single NPC's throw, reroll a throw on Mortal Wounds, or roll a Sorcerer's Mishap. And the fact that there is a Mortal Wounds table and a Sorcerer's Mishap table makes me really happy, because that is like the essence of Sword and Sorcery there. Dangerous combat and dangerous magic. You got your abstracted armor, just like you did in the other ones. You got a very limited number of weapons in this one because it is Sword and Sorcery. You got your general equipment, which is about what you'd expect. It just goes ahead and gives you a brief synopsis of what each one does, and it puts it right in the table rather than giving you... Do they have a list? Hold on. No, they don't. So rather than giving you pages of individual descriptions, they just give you a very basic idea of what each equipment does. Optional encumbrance system. Yeah, there are slight differences. It seems to me like this particular one, because it is Sword and Sorcery, is trying to like genuinely give you a heroic feel, make you really feel like a badass, and yet also retaining that kind of lethal experience from the basic game. Because I notice even in what little I've seen in these books so far, it looks like the Cepheus system really is quite a bit more lethal than a lot of the systems I'm used to. And I appreciate that, but it looks like this is trying to give people a fighting chance while still remaining relatively lethal. It also, from what I'm seeing, like I'm not reading out every skill, and I'm not reading out every weapon, I'm not reading out every trait. But I did actually breeze through those traits real quick while I was flipping through the page real quick, and it looks like, at least from that brief little look, it looks like the traits in this game are designed to make you slightly more lethal. So instead of buffing up, instead of making your character more badass by making them able to take on an entire army without being, without being instantly killed, it just makes you able to more quickly take out your opponents. I kind of like that because it keeps combat snappy. Okay, again, you got the surprise rules, which are the same initiative rules, 2D plus combat, same as it was in the prior ones. Yeah, that's good because this one one thing I'm noticing about this one, the barbaric, is that it, like, just from what I've read so far, it sounds like it makes combat. How to put this? You're saying it once new players experience, they tend to use combat as a last resort in the adventure on the basic Cepheus system. This one, it doesn't make me feel that, but it makes me feel like it. If you're gonna do combat in the barbaric system, then you want to be the one initiating it. So it looks like it's encouraging people to, like, if it looks like it's gonna be coming to blows, you need to be the one to start it and end it real quick. Which, I mean, I don't know if that was intended, but it really fits like the Sword and Sorcery feel. Like it genuinely does. I don't know if that was intended. I got the sneaking suspicion it might have been, but look at this stuff. Frenzy. If a character drops an enemy, they may move up to 2 meters and attack another foe. They may do so a number of times equal to their combat skill. Between this and the combat moves, it's like combat's even more deadly than in the basic Cepheus system, even though you're just dudes with swords and such. But it's really encouraging you to be the one that starts it, and it gives you benefits for continuing onward. I mean, it's a system about barbarians. I guess that fits. And the damage system. Yeah, the damage system is a little bit more complex because they have to take into account the fact that magic exists in a Sword and Sorcery system. So you can use things like regeneration and such. I actually really like this. I kind of want to run this. Oh man, I didn't even take a look at Cepheus yet, but I kind of want to run the Sword and Sorcery version. And there's a big one, Sword of Cepheus. I'll have to take a look at. It's like a little bit more in depth. Got morale checks, of course. Here we go. Exactly what I complained about in Cepheus Adam. And they fixed it. Characters recover all endurance after a 10-minute break. If half or more of a character's lifeblood is lost, and a severe wound heals at a rate of 1 lifeblood point per day. But wait. No, it didn't, because it still doesn't tell you the rate it heals at when you got less than a severe wound. So what happens if you've got your blood points are down like 25%? It still has that problem. I'm just going to presume that it heals up with endurance, but still, the hell, man. Okay. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful right here because it expands on what I was saying earlier. When a creature suffers a critical hit, roll on the table corresponding with a weapon type. It's got a crit hit table. You can cut people's legs off. You can take their eyes out. That's on top of the normal. Is that in Traveler? Do they have crit hit tables in Traveler? You can straight up crush their skull. Brain splatters around. Dead. Like that on top of the Cepheus system. I haven't played Traveler. I don't know if you can do that in Traveler, but you can sure do it in Barbaric. You can just jab your spear through somebody's head. Oh my god. That that plus like the multiple attack, it just goes about what I was saying earlier, man. The system wants you to go in there and ruin somebody's day. If you're gonna get into it's like if you got a fight coming up, you want to be the one to start it and the one to end it. Oh god. Okay, so you got your base exploration. I'm gonna breeze through this real quick because I've been rambling for a little while. I got light and darkness. That's important for underground stuff. But here we go. Sorcery. You got the ability. Everybody that has a sorcery skill has the ability to sense magic. Any character, regardless of skill, may attempt to cast a spell they know. There is no hard limit on the number of spells a character may cast in a day. However, there are two main limiting factors: casting time and the risk of mishaps. Each spell has a difficulty and range. Casting takes one turn, 10 minutes, because it's a sword and sorcery game. It's not D&D. This is proper sword and sorcery. You got to do like rituals and shit. There are two ways to cast a spell within a single round: to prepare a focus beforehand, or to cast hastily, which makes you more likely to fumble it. It's like it's like in the sword and sorcery movies where you see the wizard trying to do something. The barbarian runs up to him and he just starts trying real quick, and then it always goes wrong. Actually, I don't know. I've seen that many sword and sorcery movies that happens in. It's been a long time since I've seen any sword and sorcery movies. They need to make more of them. Stop this cheesy stuff. Make some more sword and sorcery movies. I'd pay to watch a good like a good modern Conan movie. A good one. Or even a mostly cheesy one. Man. When's the last sword and sorcery type movie that came out? Anyway. So you can prepare Foki, and if you get a critical failure during a spell casting, which can happen even if you fail by more than 4, the spell fails, the sorcerer has wasted the spell casting time, and you must make another sorcery throw, this time to avoid a mishap. So what happens on the mishaps? Spellcasting mishap table. Roll 2d6, I guess. You mutate. Your eye is atrophy, but you grow thermosense organs. You can sense heat, but not color. So you got various mutations. This reminds me of Dungeon Crawl Classics. The fabric of your mind cracks each day upon awakening. Throw lore 6 or completely forget who you are for that day. You cause a major explosion. You and all characters within 5 meters must throw a physical 8+ or suffer 4d damage. You fall into a necromantic torpor, then it will awaken in 1d years. Oh my god. So like you can screw a spell up, and then your character is out for like up to 6 years. Jesus. That's brutal, man. Yeah, I guess they really don't want you to just cast spells willy-nilly. The very simple kind of spell list. Spell name, difficulty, range, and then a very brief description. Choking grip. Basically suffers, it's like a damage over time. Mind probe, read one target's surface thoughts. And they've got it in a proper table because you do randomly generate what spell you know. And there's not like spell levels, so any one sorcerer can know like any spell of any level because there are no levels. Alright. Proper sword and sorcery all around. I like this system. I mean, I like this better than the other ones. Kind of want to run this, man. Okay, same old monster format. They got monsters broken down. They don't have random encounter tables, but they've got like just stats. The same format. Endurance, lifeblood, movement, armor, and then attacks and specials. All right, so they got a decent bestiary here. They got several pages of monsters, and then common NPCs that you'll run into. Treasure, my favorite part of any sword and sorcery thing. We've got magic items, just generate. Alright. So give me a second. When generating a treasure, note that the magic item column usually gives a throw on D2 on 2D necessary for magic items to be present in the treasure at all. So for this one, you've got a small treasure, you get a lot of gold, and then a chance to get up to 2 magic items. Alright, that's not bad. There's your various potions, because those are the most common ones. Each one gives you a quick description of what that potion does. And we'll go on to that one. Now the magic items, here's my issue with this. I just looked at the magic item table, and these are all D&D things. The magic item table is a bunch of D&D stuff. Yeah, these are straight up D&D items. I don't know how to feel about that. And here's the thing. I really like D&D. And I really like sword and sorcery stuff. But most D&D magic items are not sword and sorcery items. They are way more heroic. They're almost like superhero type stuff. So the fact that I looked in, that was my only disappointment in this book. And I can't even say that I'm disappointed per se based on these items. Because these, in terms of balance, they are written and converted appropriately. The items are appropriately adapted in terms of their power level to this system. I'm just disappointed that they're just the D&D item list. Because as fun as it is to see D&D items in something, when it's literally the 30th time you've seen it in a role-playing game. Yeah, I see that. I get that part. It's because you look at it, I know these items. I've been playing with these items since I've been playing role-playing games. I know how they work. I figure if you look in there, you can easily adapt them. But I would have liked to have seen a system, and it's just a minor nitpick. I will say that still, out of the 3 that I looked at, Barbaric is still my favorite, and not just because it's sword and sorcery, but because it's well done sword and sorcery. So yeah, I totally understand that. It gives you something to come from. But it's like, where am I? I'm looking for the Conan one. Where's the damn Conan one? You have to look at my review. Oh, it's right here. In the Conan RPG, like the magic items in the Conan RPG aren't really just like a list of your standard items. They're like traits and qualities that you give to to individual items. So those are the 3. This was supposed to be a quick flip through, and I've given basically like a point for point almost like mini review of each one so far. So these last two I'm going to try and get through very quickly. And I hate to do that, but I also am mindful of the fact that I need to review these. These are officially, like, especially these last two. From what I've seen of the three minor ones right here, I can say that I do recommend them for what they're at. I will do a full review on these. And I may do like one where I did like one video of all three. Depends on how much I can break it down. Then again, I kind of need the content, so you'll probably... I need the content, so you'll probably see like 3 videos on those. But these are... Like, I can tell you, just from looking at the prior ones, I suspect these are going to be well worth like a full, proper review. So I'm going to breeze through them relatively quickly. And then you can probably expect my full review on them. God, who knows? I'm a month behind on my last review, and I haven't even got that one out yet. You'll see them soon. And you know, I never put the link for Barbaric. Let me throw a link for Barbaric up in there in case somebody wants to pick that one up. Let me grab the link real quick. And these are all from Stellagama Publishing. I'm loving this so far, man. I got to be straight up. It's not a system I know, but I'm enjoying it so far. Hold on a second. I got to get that link. Give me a moment. And again, there's not going to be any Fallout 2 tonight because I am behind on recording it. I am way behind on recording it. There's the Barbaric link. All right. So let's take a look at Cepheus Light before we wrap up. I'm going to look at Sword of Cepheus too. But we're on the last two. All right. Cepheus Light is a set of rules for playing classic science fiction games and includes rules on creating characters, resolving actions, fighting other creatures, engaging in space battles, generating worlds, handling the risks of interstellar speculative trading, exploring new worlds, and many other activities. While rules light and designed for fast action-packed play rather than accurate simulation of reality, Cepheus Light encompasses a wide variety of rules and materials for building a science fiction universe and playing it. And that already tells me it's going to be more expansive than the last one. Zoser for more sci... I've heard of Zoser. I'll definitely have to take that look. I will definitely have to check that out. Yeah, see, here's the thing about me and sci-fi. Me and sci-fi usually do not get along, but me and sci-fi usually don't get along for a variety of reasons other than the quality of the thing. I might have to call this pretty soon. I'm having like issues here. So we got pressure changes, and they tend to give me migraines, and I get like visual auras when I get migraines, and it usually plays havoc with my vision. So I'll keep trooping on as long as I can, but if I get to the point where I can't read this stuff, then we're gonna have another. But let me tell you a little bit about me and sci-fi. My favorite sci-fi system that I ever played prior to like about 7 or 8 years ago, so all the way from the 90s, was Shatter Zone. And Shatter Zone basically was like all about exploration and ship-to-ship combat, mostly. And I loved the hell out of that game. So anything that gives me that kind of vibe is very welcome. And so far, Traveler, I should have taken a look at Traveler years ago, man. Like, what I know of Traveler basically stems from me picking up the PDF like about 4 or 5 months back, starting to read through it because I was going to do a review on it, and then getting sidetracked. So I need to get back into it. Yeah, and here's the thing about my migraines is that I don't get them often enough that it doesn't really affect me. Like, I can't justify going out and getting prescriptions and such if it only affects me like maybe once every couple of months. But when it affects me, it affects me, you know. I'll go like months without one, and then we'll have like a weather, and it's all like weather related, or like sometimes like uh, if I'm under lights of a certain frequency, then it'll start triggering it. But it's either weather related or light triggered, and I'll go for months without one, and then I'll get like one or two in a row, especially during times of pressure changes. All right, here we go. This one's going to have base character generation. You've got the skill. Oh, we got cybernetics in this one. That's nice. Got a more in-depth equipment section. You've got combat procedures. I'm presuming going to be pretty similar. Got interstellar travel. You've got trade rules. You've got ship design, which gives you more options. Space combat rules. World generation, which was not in the minor with a small one. And then environmental hazards and so on. So this is a little bit more in-depth of a system. Got your basics. This one actually gives you the generation, the what is a role-playing game talk. You've got about the authors, and this one says he was 36. It's funny because these aren't telling me when they were produced a lot of times on the copyright page, but the author, about the author, like you can, because they all share the same author, you can tell when they were produced because all they do is they change however years old he was. So this one, the Cepheus Light, looks to be the oldest one. You can date them based on the date of the author in the bio. Stellagama Publishing looks they got their shit together on a lot of this stuff. I'll give them that. All right, you got your basic game mechanics. It's the very same 2D plus skill versus difficulty levels. It looks like they've got an additional difficulty level down here for more dangerous stuff. Got your characteristics: strength, dex, endurance, intelligence, education, and social standing. So that's the proper, all of the skills down the line. You got optional rules for generating different types, slightly more limited, and then slightly more heroic characters. You've got the UPP hexadecimal system, so you got them easily placed. You got your homeworld skills just like the last one. You got your career path with a survival throw right off the bat. If you fail, you die. Roll up a new character. If you succeed, proceed to 2.2. So I guess that's your urging you not to keep rolling. You can got a bunch more optional rules in this one. I will say this. And I'm just bruising through these. Like, again, you've got your profession name. You got your various roles required. Then you got what each rank gives you in bonus. Not a bad way to do it. Way more complex than the light ones, which I'm getting. I'm digging this one. Got your benefits for mustering out. And you can absolutely retire before adventuring. So you can do a full career, retire at age 38. That'd be nice. And then man, I started to say it, and I thought about it, but I'm going to say it anyway. So you can make a character, run to your 38, and then you get an amount of money each year. So you can sit down, make your character, go ahead and run all 5 terms, and then tell the DM, you know what? Never mind. This character is good. He's not going to adventure. He's going to collect his pension and sit in the background. Maybe you can use him as an NPC. They got aging rules, which is important, especially since some of these can make you start at a much later level. Oh yeah, and then I like that idea. I really do. Because it gives you a mix. Because did I just screw up my stream? Give me a moment. No, it's still going. It's still going. I bumped the cable. I wanted to make sure I was still getting video. Yeah, it came out and then it cut back in. Yeah, I like the idea. Because as it is, it's like there's no real reason for characters that start at drastically different ages should have at least some difference between them, you know? That life experience has to count for something, you know? Gives you examples of character generation. That's nice. I mean, it might have a little bit too many examples because it's got like 4 pages of examples. And the skills are just as short in their descriptions as they were in the super light one, but there's more of them. So there's that. Gives you rules for skill advancement because they do have an advancement system in this one, which is good. You do get experience per adventure, and you can use it to increase your skills. That's nice. Here's your equipment, your starting equipment. You've got the various tech levels explained. You've got your quality of living costs, which is good because it didn't show it in the light ones, because the light ones are really made for like on-the-fly gaming, and this one's made for like a proper campaign. I'm digging this one so far. You got your personal armor, and it's got the same protection values, tech level, cost, and then skills required to use it. Each one's described proper. You got your cybernetics, which I guess gives you all the stat adjustments that they give. Exploration personal equipment, that's pretty standard. You got your clip art robot, that's cute. Pharmaceuticals, because you will need medical treatment up there. That's nice. Got robots you can buy. Nice. Proper vehicle stat blocks with speed, agility, light damage, critical weapon damage, and then what crew is required, which was beyond the asked one, as well as what cargo they can hold. That's nice. Got your weapon aspects specific to each individual weapon. You got, I guess, different types of weapons. So it's your melee, then your ranged weapons, and then your like proper common support weapons, and then just general explosives. Way more weapons in this one. I like that. Gotta load up with a full arsenal on that stuff. The only thing that kind of disappoints me in some sci-fi games is that while some sci-fi games give you rules for it, like the number of sci-fi games that don't give you rules for it kind of disappoints me. Is that what happens when someone goes in loaded for bear? They got, their big guns, they got ammo everywhere, they got like their belt full of explosives and stuff, and then somebody like shoots their ammo or something. You'd expect sometimes. Now I know in high tech levels it's not as bad, but if somebody's like shooting your grenades and stuff, eventually one of them's going to cook off, and you're going to be in a world of hurt. So I'm disappointed in how many sci-fi games don't give you something along those lines. All right, you got your frenzy rules, which gives you the ability to disable. So this is in this particular rule set. I don't know if it's in the traveler rule set, but the frenzy one, where if you drop somebody, then you can immediately move and try to swing at somebody else. That does make things a little bit more aggressive, so to speak. They give you aim, different combat options for like aiming, going full auto. I like that. More advanced damage and healing rules with optional rules on top. There's the wound system, just like before, but it's a little bit deeper this time for serious wounds. Got healing and medical care for each one. Note that mortal rules do not necessarily spell the character's doom. Stellagama Publishing offers a free supplement offering trauma surgery rules for such occasions. So an advertisement for I don't know, man. It seems like an optional rule system that should have been included in there. I mean, it's free, but if you're just walking around with the book, then you got to print it out and tuck it into the book. Seems like they could have just printed a page or two up. I don't know how long they are. I did not put the link of this. I'm going to put the link to this one right in the chat here. This is Cepheus Light, and I'm liking it so far. Not as much as Barbaric. Oh my God, Barbaric was awesome, but I'm digging it. I'm digging it. And we'll get done here soon. I'm going to pop this in the chat real quick. Here we go. Here's the link for this one. Boom. Oh, it's interesting. I've still got to pull the Mongoose stuff. I am going to do a proper review of the Mongoose Traveler or whatever. What's the newest one? Is that the Mongoose one? Because I know there was an issue where they had like several versions. I'm going to do a review of the newest Mongoose version at some point. I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I will get to it. Alright, so you've got some examples. I like nice, beefy examples of stuff. Alright, let's go. Especially when it takes especially when you get like 3 or 4 versions, so you get lots of things covered. Alright, so you got vehicle movement, chases, dogfighting rules. Nice. Nice. And you got slightly more in-depth damaging vehicles rules. Rules for repairing vehicles, which is good. Interstellar travel rules. I'm just going to skip over a lot of this real quick. Yeah, so you got a proper ship-to-ship combat system, which is nice. I always love ship-to-ship combat systems. I guess that is why I play FTL so much. I will definitely cover this in a lot more depth in my actual review. Got rules for speculating on trade. So you can buy low, sell high, and you can just jump from ship to ship, moving trade, moving machine parts and such. Rules for, not really rules, but like guidelines for dealing with smuggling. I wish there was more in-depth trade rules in more systems. Like, one of the reasons I like Adventure Conquer King system, even though it's not like... I've heard the criticisms, it's not spot on stuff, but at least it has a trading system in it. Like, an entire system in the rule set, even though it's an OSR system, where you can buy and sell goods and profit from them. I like systems that have something like that. Even if it's like an expansion. Even if it's like a supplement, you know? I would love to see more supplements with like economic systems. Like D&D, be a trader, that kind of thing. Got proper ship design, so you can design your own ships. Man, this is actually like decently fleshed out. All the things you can plug onto ships, their costs, their damage. As those are so, I've heard of that. I need to take a look at it. I may actually have it downloaded on my system already. I got a folder with a bunch of systems that I was intending to review very, very quickly. Oh crap! What's happening with my video? Oh, my video is good. I got a whole like folder with nothing but systems that I downloaded in order to review, like purchased, bought them, got the PDF downloaded and everything, and I just have not had time to review them, and it's really beginning to anger me because some of them it's like the third or fourth time I get recommended a system and I'm like, oh man, I got to review it, but I just don't have the time, and it's really starting to it's like legitimately pissing me off. Because I really want to review a lot more things. And I need to... I got so much stuff to do, man. Other components and small craft. Alright, so you can actually design smaller fighter type stuff, too. Neat. Neat. I can spend hours. Like, if you let me... Give me a moment. Yeah, I messed up my video again. God damn it. Like, if you let me... There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. If you let me play a sci-fi game and we get a lot of credits and something, I can spend hours upon hours designing spaceships. Not actually using them, just like designing different designs, just to try and figure out which one I like best. In terms of like computer games and such, I used to love the Wing Commander Privateer. So if I could do that in tabletop gaming, that'd be awesome. So you got your various example ships and stat blocks for each one. Your space combat basics, and it looks exactly like the vehicle combat from before, just a little bit more in depth. Where you've got advantage, and then each ship takes an action, and then each position on the ship gets its own list of actions to do each round. I do love this one. Oh man, I feel like if I got that, you probably wouldn't see me for a week because I just go over onto it. I had to force myself to stop playing some games because of that, because I would just spend hours upon hours doing that kind of shit. Oh man, it has more in-depth rules for space combat. Nothing I love more than a 6-minute space combat round taking like half an hour to 45 minutes. It's worse than 4th edition, man. It's got examples of each ship-to-ship combat. I'm gonna breeze through this real quick because I got one more system that I want to take a look at before we're done here. All right, so this has there's your Universal World profile. Man, my video keeps cutting out. Stop it, machine. I gotta buy another mini mini HDMI cable. Yeah, I gotta get one. Oh yeah, so this is like random world generation. So you can generate an entire star system with it, which I guess is nice. I need to take a look at Zoser. I take it like, even though there's all these things to do in space combat, it's over in like a couple rounds maybe. I know if you got lucky in Shatter Zone, that used to be... Actually, no, I take that back. Shatter Zone, you used to like track like individual missiles and stuff. And like you would fire your weapons, and the beam weapons would go off immediately, but the damage really didn't happen. Like the damage really didn't skyrocket until like the projectile weapons hit. And because you were talking about such huge distances, the projectile weapons, like you'd track them between the spaceships, and it would take 3 or 4 rounds before you got a hit. So the beginning of the combat, god damn it with this thing here. Come on. Let me get the video again. I didn't even budge that time. This is just this thing deciding that, hey, I'm not going to work anymore. Come on, HDMI cable. I'm on the last book. Don't fail me now, cable. Oh my god. It's not even... It's like a brand new cable. What the hell, man? I'm gonna unplug it. I'm gonna plug it back in. And now it works. All right. But yeah, in Shatter Zone, from my experience in Shatter Zone, this may not be everybody, but the ship-to-ship combat would start with ships way far apart, and you'd spend the first 2 or 3 rounds just bouncing the beam weapons off of each other without really doing much, unless somebody got like a lucky hit, and just watching those missiles creep closer and closer, and then usually like the first missile hit or two would totally take out one ship. And you then had to hope, like, whatever missiles and torpedoes were fired at you wouldn't take you out after you took out the other ship. Because it was entirely possible to get double kills in that system. I don't know what Traveler's like, but that's the kind of thing that would... As a DM, that's the kind of thing that would amuse me. It's like, oh, we killed him, but they've still got 5 missiles incoming. Oh, fuck, did it go off again? Did it seriously go off again? I didn't even touch the fucking thing this time. Hold on a second. There we go. My God. All right, let me get through this before the video fails again. I'm gonna breeze through this real quick. We got the last bit here of it just gives you the government types for randomly generated worlds. You got various trade codes, tells you what a particular world is specialized in, gives you what they produce. You got, of course, an example of world generation. Then you've got a quick rundown of environmental hazards, an appendix with descriptions of the various aliens that you encounter, as well as psionic abilities that can be picked up by characters naturally. So you got like a psionic wild talent check almost. And then you got the source of inspiration with the various video games, movies, and literature that contributed to it. And that's it for Cepheus Light. And that seemed like a decent system. It makes me want to really check out Traveler more than I already do. I need to make time to do it. So this last one, I'm going to breeze through it real quick. It's Sword of Cepheus. It's a 2d6 sword and sorcery role-playing. Once again, in my wheelhouse, something I really like. Let's take a look at the back. Sorcerer blasting his enemies with the power of his mind. A muscled barbarian wielding a flaming sword against the local tyrant's thugs. A secret cabal of magicians plotting to control the minds and souls of kings. A gladiator freed himself from slavery, wanders the land, righting wrongs and smashing villains. Big muscles, big swords, eldritch sorcery, powers of the mind, and eldritch beasts. From Burroughs to Howard to Moorcock, and squash this, whatever this is. Little bug. From Burroughs to Howard to Moorcock to Italian peplum films, to those dreaming of outlandish post-apocalyptic worlds, everywhere heroes raise swords against corrupt nobles, inexplicable sorcerers, and alien monstrosities. It's a role-playing game with triple sword genres: sword and sorcery, sword and planet, and sword and sandal. This reminds me that I need to get Worlds Without Number. Oh man, we got some nice like catacombs art in here. I'm gonna take a look at the contents real quick because I suspect this gonna... Oh no! Is this gonna tear? Oh fuck! We got glue on the page. Thank you, print on demand services, drive-through RPG. You made me rip my book. Oh, I didn't rip it. I didn't rip it bad. But is that gonna be a thing with this book? Okay, I think that was it. That was just that one page. All right. I can live with that. All right, so we got skill advancement. We got various characteristics, background, skills, and careers. So there is a career in mustering out, even though this is a sword and sorcery thing. This is going to be interesting. Got trait list, which is similar to the ones in Barbaric. I did not see a trait list in basic Cepheus Light, so I'm suspecting that's for sword and sorcery only. Correct me if I'm wrong there. You got the law and chaos factions in terms of adventuring. That's neat. So let's go ahead and get into this. Skip. Fuck, this is going to be a thing with this book, isn't it? Oh my god. This one's ripping even more. Oh my, what happened? Did they spilled fucking glue in this book. Yeah, drive-through RPG, thanks. I'm gonna have to like peel these pages apart. It's all the way through the book, isn't it? I think it's only right there. God damn it. Anyway. When we get back to it, we'll go through real quick. Because again, last system of the day. All material in this book, except for the above introduction chapter and the open game license text at the back of this book, is open content. That means this book, with the above noted exceptions, can be served as the basis of your own rules and products, including commercial ones, and even republish if you choose. So that's a nice base to use. Okay. Again, you've got the same system, 2D plus skill. You got it versus various difficulty levels. Again, they've presented a table for easy reference. Got your skill list right here. Hold on a second. Did I miss something? There's no stats. There's no stats. It just goes directly into skills. So you just got a skill list with various skills out here. I got everything from alchemy, animals, artificery, etc., sorcery. That is a lot of skills. I'm not seeing a stat thing, though. So I guess instead of... Yeah, I guess you just use skills. All right, anyway. Experience cost to increase skills. You get experience every time you complete an adventure. But wait a minute. It says int plus edu characteristics. There's no characteristics listed. Oh, here they are. Oh my god. I hate it when that happens in a book. Where they go and explain something like out of order like that. Right, so it does have characteristics. Strength, dex, endurance, intelligence, education, and social. Same as always. Same as the last one. I'm going to go ahead and kick it in. You go through career things. You go through career paths. But you start at age 14 because, of course, sword and sorcery. And the careers, quote unquote, are barbarian, commoner, noble, pirate. So it's similar to Cepheus Light, where you've actually got a career path. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. They do have a mishap table. And again, talking about mishaps, whatever machine assembled this book needs to, like, get replaced. They have a lot of professions in here. You got general life events depending on where you're from. So your characters from the city or in a city, it's going to be a lot different than if they're in a village. You got the benefits for mustering out. According to the rules above, a character that fails a survival throw dies. However, some merciful referees may allow the character to survive at the cost of a serious injury. So that is an optional rule here. Got examples of the character generation. Then you got traits. So you gain them as you survive your careers. And these traits are things like ally, awareness, backstab, etc. The same kind of halfway between feat and halfway... between. Yeah, this does look nice. I like the fact I like it when a game company releases their system for adaptation, because it enables products like this to expand on the system into genres that it doesn't usually cover. And it allows for the preservation of older styles of the system. It would be nice to make an add-on for D&D characters when making higher level characters on the fly and have this career path with mishaps events to breathe better life into player characters. 100% agree. If it's not already out there, and again, as I was saying, when the system is released into the public like that, it enables people to do stuff like that. So if there's not already a system out there for making higher level characters to have a career path kind of thing for D&D, that sounds like a product that would not do badly. Fred Daniel, I hope that you'll find the time to give one or more of these titles some more attention on your channel, play more of Barbaric. I am going to do a full review of every book that I've been given here. I'm not sure when they will be done, but I will be doing a full, in-depth review of each of these. I don't know if I'm going to be able to record some gameplay, but I will definitely be covering all of these in more depth. Yeah. So I will try to... I need to... I just got so much I need to do. I wish I could do more. I wish I could run games on these, man. I would, in an instant. I got to do like a channel update. I got to do a proper channel update because there's so much I want to do, especially regarding the people that support me. I know a number of people have joined. I know a couple people have joined memberships on the channel. I know I've got like. I know if you look at my end screen, it's still got the same 2 people or whatever. But I've actually got like about 11 people that are doing the subscribe star / Patreon thing, and then another couple channel members. So I need to find some way. It's just I only cover the top tier on my end screen. I've been thinking about just opening it through all the memberships and such, and just start mentioning like everybody who's done a member. Just open the floodgates on that. And I want to do more stuff where I pick a day or whatever and run a game for like either my members / patrons / subscriber stars people, or like once in a while. And the only thing that gives me kind of pause on this is time involved. Once in a while, I would like to open it up to general viewership, to run like a game where I get like 4 or 5 of my viewers and just run like a one-shot for them. And I killed the video again, didn't I? God damn it. But if I don't know how I would do it. I definitely need to take the time to do it. Hold on, I'm trying to fix this up again. I had it working and I unplugged it. There we go. But it's definitely something I would love to do, is to do like a one-shot with my viewers. Alright, anyway, back to a quick look. You got your standard skill packages kind of thing on here. You got your trait listing, which is halfway between feats and or class abilities, but then you get traits as you... Who the hell's calling me? Give me a moment. And people wonder why I don't live stream more often. And I can't shut it off because I got to stay on call in case people call me for emergencies. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh yeah, they got your prerequisite. They got what it does, and each one functions kind of like halfway between a feat. And I wanted to know about your karma. Dude, it's usually worse than that around here, man. I got somebody called me. Dude, it was funny. I actually got to start recording some of them. Because it was like, somebody called me the other day, and they were like, this is, I don't even remember the name of the country. It was like Texas Solar or something. It wasn't Texas Solar. But it was like, yeah, this is Texas Solar. It was some solar panel company. Then we do home solar panel installation. How are you today? And I was like, really busy. And like, oh, well, would you, they're like, oh, really? I'm sorry to hear that. Would you like us to call you back tomorrow? And I was like, no, don't bother. And they were like, huh? I was like, goodbye. And they were like, well, goodbye, sir. It was just the way that they kind of stopped when I just told them not to bother. It was hilarious. I really need to record it more often. Some of that shit. My personal favorite, when I knew it was somebody that was calling me to spam, and I answered the phone, what the fuck you want? Just right off the bat. Okay. Equipment. A note on tech levels. Yeah, this is basically your tech level for equipment, but since it's a sword and sorcery thing, the tech level is always going to be very, very low. In fact, it's almost non-existent here. Because it is sword and sorcery. So again, they got living expenses all the way up to royal living expenses. Nice. You got your standard equipment. You got your armor. All of it very, very sword and sorcery, medieval type stuff. Got an encumbrance system because encumbrance is important in sword and sorcery type games. Got a variety of riding creatures and vehicles. But we've been through the stats on these things about a zillion times. I will note that because Like, because the vehicles aren't spaceships and things made of metal, like the biggest ones are sailing ships and such, that when you look at the weapons, because you don't have support weapons, like the battle axe and the broadsword and such, they have anti-vehicle damage on basic melee weapons because you're not hacking through spaceships. And realistically, if you've got a big axe, you can use it against a carriage. So I like that idea where they kind of scaled the anti-vehicle damage down to where like ordinary melee weapons can potentially damage vehicles. It's not half bad. Got siege weapons, of course. Mercenaries that you can hire, which is important. Got retainer rules, which is something straight out of D&D. Retainer rules, henchmen, and specialists. Nice. They don't have an alignment system, but they do have a description of the law versus chaos thing, just in case. Okay, got various survival rules. Been over all this stuff before. It's pretty much taken over from the other one, from the other rule systems, but with more focus on like planetary, on what might be called planetary exploration on the other one, where you're wandering the wilderness and such. Not too bad. You got combat system. Combat procedure is much the same. You got your surprise check. You got your initiative check. You got your actions that you can do on each one. You do have enhanced. I don't know if these are enhanced, but it looks like the dodge and parry section, just at a glance, is a little bit more in-depth than the one from the basic Cepheus system, which I'm presuming is because there's a higher chance of dodging an arrow or, a sword strike than there is dodging a freaking bullet or blaster fire. Okay, rules. Wound system is very similar, but they do have an optional rule for dealing with mooks and grunts. So it basically gives you rules that allow you to take people down much more swiftly if they're just like fodder. You got mounted combat, which is fun. Morale check, same old, same old. Got the examples of personal combat. I'm going to assume that the chase and vehicle combat is going to mostly go around the mounted combat. They do have jousting and other horseback-related material, which is nice. I'm not going to go in-depth on... I'll go in-depth on this when I do the proper review. They got rules for critical hits on vehicles, which is funny because It's funny because a lot of the vehicles in this system, because it is sword and sorcery, are like horses and stuff. So all of a sudden, critically hitting a vehicle it takes on a whole new meaning when it's like animal driven. Yeah, it looks nice. I'll definitely have to take a look at it. Got naval combat, which is naval combat. In the old school D&D was always covered, and I was surprised at how often it was covered because I almost never did naval combat in old school D&D, and yet it was right there in the basic rules since day one. You got your sorcery stuff, which is similar to the sorcery in barbaric, where you got to go ahead and concentrate, and you've got to make a check, and if you fail a check by a certain amount, then you have a chance to trigger a spell mishap, which can cause anything from random mutations to backlash to explosions to even affecting your allies. So it can be very dangerous. It has that more sword and sorcery feel rather than proper, like I say proper. It's got a more sword and sorcery feel rather than Vancian spellcasting, which is good. And they do divide magic into white magic, black magic, and gray magic, in order to affect the amount of, I believe, what it can do. Oh, and here, what's corruption do? Hold on. I gotta read corruption. Sorcerers gain corruption points in various ways. Each time you learn a black magic spell, each time you cast a black magic spell, each time you use a gray magic spell for evil purposes or whatever. Might have to rig some starship construction rules for naval ships. You have an awesome pirate. You know what? I hate to say it, but I think there may be. Is there? No, I don't think there is. I was gonna say. I would be. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something like that for this system. Take a look. Is there? Nah, there's not. I'm disappointed. 1-1 or 1 out of 10. Never play again. Not. Ship construction rules for sword and sorcery type stuff. Oh, I'd love it. That's why I love the what was it? The Pirate Campaign Compendium or whatever from Legendary Games. Gives you all kinds of rules for making ships and such. It's neat. Anyway, there's various mutations you can pick up while failing to cast spells. We've got examples of the spell casting. Oh, hold on. What the hell? I thought I saw something, but I think it's just my eyes beginning to filter. Alright, you got your basic spell tables. This time they divide the spells up into white, gray, and black magic because black magic can cause corruption because you're using like the forces of evil. Otherwise, like half of these, just from a look, half of these are like D&D spells. And then half of them are like not D&D. Well, less than half of them are not D&D spells. So this one seems to be running a little bit more towards D&D type spells. Although there are some things in there like Conjure Demon Spawn or whatever that are a little bit more generic. That's cool. I'm going to skip through them. Oh man, that's a lot of spells. Okay. Let me go back. I just skipped all the way into the monster portion. Hold on. And I'm going to be wrapping this up soon because I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. All right. They have Rebirth, which can bring you back from the dead, but can give you all these effects if you are brought from the dead, back from the dead. Right. Then you got your various monsters, and the monster stats are given up here. Looks like they've got some things that are straight up from D&D, like Assassin Vines. I think I saw an Alep, although that's from mythology too, but I think the one in here represents a more D&D-esque type thing. Yeah, Dark Mantle. That's right out of D&D, a Dark Mantle. But some of them, like a Dybbuk and a Hellion, those are more mythologically based. So it looks like it's got a good mix of like random beasts and mythology and then stuff ripped right off of D&D. And I can't, as much as I got irritated when I turned to that magic item table in Barbaric and saw nothing but D&D items, again, I can't really, like you said, you know, it gives you something that's familiar. So if you're designing your own thing, you can look at how they converted something from D&D, and then when you design your own thing, you know, okay, so this is how they did it, and they can expect it. I'll admit that. I mean, I was irritated at first, but I think I see I'm coming around. I'm coming around. Straight up vampires. Alright, so there's the treasure. Does have guidelines for researching new spells. That's nice. Identifying magic items. Let's skip to what the magic items look like. They got more complex treasure generation rules, which I like. There's your potion list. And again, the potion list is straight out of D&D. I see Oil of Slipperiness in there. Ring of Spell Turning, Ring of Regeneration, Ring of Djinn Calling, Ring of Invisibility. These are all D&D type stuff. The D&D type influence on these items is more evident when you start talking about stuff like Staff of Wizardry, Staff of Striking. You know, this is like straight up D&D material. The Flame Tongue, the Luck Blade. Yeah, but again, I'm beginning to get it. Oh, what I like is this. On the Enchanted Sword, like they give you like the old school +1, +2 versus dragons. +1, +2 versus regenerating creatures. That's like out of the basic era type stuff. Decanter of Endless Water. Gauntlets of Ogre Power. Straight up D&D type stuff. Although I see where the UWP comes into play, because right up here, like the what is it? The Horn of Horn of Heroes, which is the Horn of the Valkyries or whatever. Horn of Heroes. What was it? I can't even remember what it's called in D&D. It's the one that summons barbarians. They're listed here with like the abbreviated stat block that was in there before. I see Arx Fatalis on that video game inspiration list. I need to play that. How many of these have I played? The Avernum series, Battle Brothers, love it. I have not played Blood Omen. I have played Conan Exiles. I've played Darkest Dungeons. I've played Dark Souls. Played Gothic. Played Grim Dawn. Played Kingdom Come Deliverance. I need to play it more often. Legend of Grimrock 1 and 2. Arisen series I have not played, but I've got it. Thief series, I have played that. Ultima. I haven't played a lot of these to completion, but I've played them. The Witcher trilogy, Ultima. Yeah, these. Yeah. Yeah, it would. It would make it easier to convert older stuff, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Well, that was the Sword of Cepheus. This is a bunch of stuff from Stellagama Tabletop Games, all based on the Cepheus engine. I gotta admit, I'm gonna wrap it up here, but I gotta admit, let me put the link to that one up real quick. Let me pop the Sword of Cepheus up there in the link section. Sorry, Yeah, I'm starting to get issues here. Yeah, this is just an overview. I will be going in more depth on these, but I believe that you can get a sense for what my overall take on these is gonna be. I gotta admit, they've won a convert to the Cepheus system here. I had not played, I'd taken a look at Traveler before, but I hadn't actually had a chance to play it or look at it real in depth. And I have certainly not taken a look at Cepheus products before. Just from the overview that I've taken a look, I think they've earned a convert. I will be trying to play more Cepheus stuff in the future. I will definitely keep an eye out for more Cepheus stuff to cover. You can look forward to proper review of these coming forward. I'm going to probably call it a night here because I'm starting to get that migraine starting to kick in like full force here. And I'm sorry there's no Fallout 2. Expect it to pick up either on Wednesday or it might be Friday before I can do it because it's clear that I'm not going to be able to record it tonight either. I'll try to record it sometime tomorrow, which means it'll be edited Wednesday and up like on Thursday. And I'll continue on then. I just fell behind last week. Thank you for watching. Thank you to those of you who've been continuing to support the channel. I appreciate it more than anything. If I run a one-shot, I'll be kicking around ideas on the Patreon and such for the one-shot. And I'll be kicking around ideas for other things I want to do. Thank you for watching. As always, if you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you've got any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content with Tabletop and Computer. Until next time, take care and goodbye.